All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge and invocation.
And we bow our heads, please. Lord God in heaven above, we thank you for this great nation. We thank you for this great city, a city where we just practiced our right to democracy, our right to vote. We ask that as we go forward we had an election this week, as we go forward with the new elections, will you be with the citizens of this community and all the candidates? May the candidates realize the solemn responsibility they have to represent this city. Father, as we go about this meeting tonight, give us the strength, the guidance, and the wisdom to make the right decisions for all the citizens of this community. For all these things we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Wiseman, seconded by Mr. Hoffman. Or, we'll go with Hoffman. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're going to start off. Got a few proclamations this evening. So I think we're going to start off with CASA. So if I could have. And this is a proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. And whereas the City of Ocean Springs prides itself on giving back to the community, contributing to the quality of life among our citizens, and whereas Jackson County CASA, in association with the National Court-Appointed Special Advocate Association, speaks for the best interest of abused and neglected children who are involved in juvenile courts. More than 38,000 children throughout the state of Mississippi are reported to suffer from some form of abuse or neglect each year. And whereas of those, roughly 10,000 were substantiated investigations, meaning at least one form of abuse or neglect was found. In Jackson County, there were about 800 or more substantiated incidents of abuse, neglect, and or exploitation. And whereas within our state, 35 children died according to the most recent federal numbers reported of abuse and neglect. And whereas through a national effort, the Ocean Springs community members are encouraged to join together to raise awareness for those children falling victim to abuse and neglect throughout the month of April. And whereas this effort will give abused and neglected children in our community and around the county a chance for a safe and positive future. Now, therefore, I, Shade Opson, Mayor of the City of Ocean Springs, do proudly present this proclamation and proclaim the month of April 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. And our outstanding youth council just recently held a fundraiser, and I want to thank Megan Brown, our executive assistant, for really spearheading and helping direct and guide the youth council. They were able to raise $147 to contribute to CASA. So give it up for our youth council.
Thank you. On behalf of the board of the Jackson County CASA and all of our volunteers, we thank you for your continued support. Certainly thank you for the recognition of this very important issue in our community. And certainly thank our youth council for their contribution as well. Please keep an eye out for all of our events that are coming up in the spring and summer, and we're happy to be able to get back on track, as I know a lot of you are after COVID. So thank you very much again, and look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.
All right, next up we have Sexual Assault Awareness Month. All right. Whereas the City of Ocean Springs shares a critical concern for victims of sexual violence and military sexual trauma, and a desire to support their needs for justice and healing. And whereas in 2020, the Gulf Coast Center for Nonviolence served the needs of 184 adult and child victims of sexual assault through rape crisis interventions at hospitals and individual and group counseling sessions. And whereas current estimates suggest as few as 1 in 5 sexual assaults will be reported to law enforcement, and less than 3% will result in the conviction and incarceration of the perpetrator. And whereas research shows that victims are far more likely to disclose their sexual assault to a friend or family member, and when these loved ones respond with doubt, shame, or blame, victims suffer additional negative effects on their physical and psychological well-being. Whereas the National Start by Believing public awareness campaign is designed to improve the responsiveness of friends, family members, and community professionals so they can help victims access supportive resources and engage the criminal justice system. Whereas advocates, professionals, volunteers, and concerned community members will devote the month of April to raise public awareness of the crisis of sexual assault and military sexual trauma as National Sexual Assault Awareness Month, encouraging people across our community to start by believing victims of sexual assault. Now therefore I, Shade Austin, Mayor of the City of Ocean Springs, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2021 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Yes, I'm Melissa. I'm one of our local victim advocates. And I'd like to thank the City of Ocean Springs. You guys have been so supportive of our organization, the Gulf Coast Center for Nonviolence, for many years. Mayor Dobson has, Chief Dunson has, and we have a really close relationship, which really helps our clients. We serve thousands of victims in the lower 6 counties with domestic violence, human trafficking, and sexual assault. This is Leila Berman. We're actually meeting for the first time tonight. She contacted me because she is with the DFW and is really passionate about military sexual trauma specifically. Is there anything that you wanted to say about that?
I just wanted to say that thank you for adding the language. It is a huge, it affects our military, and it affects both men and women of our military. It is an issue that we're all working on, and bringing more awareness is going to give more survivors the courage to stand up and to speak out. So I appreciate it. Thank you for adding that language.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Gill, would you like to join me for this one? And Mr. Curtis Lloyd, come on up here, please.
Susan, y'all want to come on? Come on, y'all come on.
All right. And this is a proclamation honoring Alderman Curtis Lloyd for his years of service as an elected official to the City of Ocean Springs. Whereas Curtis Lloyd moved from Detroit, Michigan to Mississippi when he was just 6 years old. While in Mississippi, he graduated from Ocean Springs High School in 1958, and upon graduation, he attended Mississippi State University with a full-ride football scholarship, where he graduated in 1962. And whereas degree in hand, he returned to Ocean Springs, and in 1963, he bought Lloyd's Auto Parts. After years of service with us as a small business owner, he retired and sold his business in 1990, only to open a new auto parts store in the city of Goshen. And whereas as an alderman, Curtis Lloyd served for the first time from 1969 to 1973. During his time in office, he served on the Civil Defense Board, and ran the Recreation Department while the city searched for a full-time director. And whereas he next served as alderman for 2 consecutive terms from 2001 to 2009, he also served on the Zoning and Adjustments Board, and when asked, he would serve on any project to support the Ocean Springs community. And whereas the start of Curtis Lloyd's third term in 2005 saw the election of new Mayor Connie Moran and Hurricane Katrina. Katrina brought devastation and immeasurable problems to the city of Ocean Springs, its citizens, and the municipal government. Never had the city faced a more desperate time. And whereas Fort Maurepas was destroyed by Hurricane Katrina, Curtis Lloyd helped create a new, improved Fort Maurepas, which citizens of Ocean Springs enjoy to this day. Whereas Curtis Lloyd helped with the groundbreaking establishment of what is now the Highway 57 Sports Complex. During his time in service, Alderman Lloyd fought for what was right for the city of Ocean Springs and its citizens. Now, therefore, I, Shay Dobson, Mayor of the City of Ocean Springs, do hereby proudly present this proclamation in recognizing Curtis Lloyd for his loyal commitment and years of service as an alderman for the City of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and proclaim Wednesday, April 7th, 2021 as Curtis Lloyd Day.
Not just to put anything in this room. But I want to thank everybody, all the people who work for the city, as well as all the men in this group. If you went through a hurricane, you find out what loyalty that the people who work for the city give to the city. I thank everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I want to thank you because I worked with you for 8 years. You were the reason that I came in and learned how to even sit where this young lady sits. You encouraged me, and I had a lot of admiration for you, and I missed you.
You are just one of the beautiful things that the city has.
Thank you.
All right, happy to do all of that. Let's go with presentations. We have, first up, we have Ospreys requesting support for an ARP grant to create a mural.
He didn't say anything about the golf game.
My hair fell out.
I understand you're taking too much of our money, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be famous for my PowerPoint. But this is a really cool opportunity that we found from AARP. It's a community challenge-based grant. If you want to skip, there's a lot of info on this. We don't have to spend a ton of time, but it's a really open concept. You can kind of pick anything. So I did some research. If you want to skip to the next slide, about different kind of things they had awarded. They did transportation stuff, housing, but they also focused on walkability, pedestrian safety, obviously stuff we're into. And then we stumbled upon this idea of vibrant public places with it. So we kind of jumped off to this pocket park idea. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit more about that, but if you want to skip over. So the idea, here's the overarching plan, and I've got some visuals for you guys. So we would actually create this asphalt art ground mural. And we partnered with WIAMA, so we're super excited with that, because I do spreadsheets for a living, so you guys don't want me to do artwork. But very exciting. But so it's actually, they're being widely adopted. It's an art installation, but nothing terribly precious. A car is going to drive over it, but it will provide traffic calming opportunities. We really want to focus on allowing the residents that travel from Villa Marie to the community center. And we got a letter of support from Ms. Parkland at the Jackson County Civic Action Committee already. And we have our partnership with WAMA, and we have the support of Deacon Allen from St. Alphonsus. So we're excited that we're already getting community support, and we just need to make sure that you guys are okay with us painting on the ground if this gets awarded. And then the other opportunity was just outside these doors, the old police substation, and taking just a couple of parking spots. We looked at those 4 between the oak tree, and I got some visuals about that, but creating like this little pocket park that could be used by anybody. It could be used by WAMA, it could be used by the community center, by the senior center. So, the library, you guys can go eat lunch out there. Like, it might just be a nice place to hang out. So Megan, if you want to show them some of the pictures. So these are some of the ideas. Julian and Tony at WAMA have been like really, really helpful. I can't stress enough in coming up with concepts. It looks like we're going to go with like a geometric type of design feel, and then having different areas kind of do a contest. We can do a citywide contest that would be like the park that's in front of the children's park. So it's really open, but the idea is that it will calm traffic, because that area does have a sidewalk, but just standing out there chatting, with the guys from WAMA lately, it's like, people fly, it's crazy. But it'll, be a great way to get seniors safely from the Villa Marie down to the senior center. And then these were kind of some ideas about the pocket park. So I didn't know what this concept was until I started researching it. But it's taking like any space that's just kind of overlooked or not well utilized and having a reason to bring people there. So the idea of having the stage, that could be anything from like a seniors Tai Chi class to WAMA's art class to some kids locally want to put on a little play for their parents or something, So that was kind of the idea behind that. And then, Megan, so this is the actual area. The footprint would just be those 4.5 spots between those 2, like, I don't know what the term is called. So, like, parking islands, I guess? I don't know, but they have the trees. And then the actual stage would go around the larger tree that's to, like, the southwestern corner? Yeah, southwestern corner. So, that's the area. And does anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay. So we talked about fixed furniture, so we didn't have to, have anything walk away or whatever. We can do different kind of benches. Obviously, like, details on that can be finalized later. And so we would do, like, the stage height. Mr. Blackman gave us some good education about code and ensure that it's safe. So height, we would work that in. We definitely want to make it ADA compliant. But we would really just like the permission today from you guys to allow us to say that we have the city permission as we submit the grant. Oh yeah, and I want to throw a shade structure up there too. So it can be used like, even in the sweltering heat. So people like me that are pale as ghosts can go out there. And the deadline is actually next week. So we've gotten pretty far into the process, but we definitely want your support. And it doesn't have a match. So it's 100% funded, but, last slide, we would love any support we can have that would be, in-kind services to install permanent, furniture, anything, maybe Public Works can help out in. But, anything that would, help, give us a leg up on the grant application. And the community center and the senior center are already offered to help feed, volunteers and give them water and stuff. So that's our plan. What do you guys think?
I think it's a great idea. I like the idea. And I think that, should I make a motion, Nicole, or should we just discuss this?
I would just discuss it. Well, you can always make a motion in a second and then y'all can discuss it. That's fine. Either way.
I make a motion that we support Osprey pursuing the AARP grant for the improvements on Washington Avenue. And the pocket park.
I do have a question with this.
Yeah.
Motion by Mr. Payne, second Mr. Blackman. Discussion.
Would that lock us into the location? I mean, the 4 parking places is the only issue I've got given up.
Right.
We are fighting for parking downtown as it is now.
Yeah, we did meet and talk with Mayor Dobson, and a couple aldermen. If you want to arrow back, Megan, to that satellite image from Google Maps. There you go.
It'll be
Two over.
moving forward.
There you go. So you can see there's a couple of vehicles and stuff that it looks like are being used as storage as it sits right now. So, and then we talked with Mayor Dobson. We were very thoughtful about ensuring that an emergency vehicle could pass through there, that we would only take just the smallest amount of, parking possible. So our thought was, we kind of monitored this area. It is walking distance, which is why I picked it. You can actually go from the senior center parking lot and walk safely, to this area. So it's kind of like an underutilized space that's got great proximity. And then our thought was, if we're really tight, maybe, I don't know what those vehicles are, like a trailer and a couple of older vehicles, but
I'm not sure either. When I looked at it with you, that was my question, is what are we storing or allowing people just to park vehicles and trailers back there? So we're definitely, somebody's using parking spots.
Right.
I don't know who, so we need to check into that. But I don't have an issue. It's actually about, like you and I talked about 3.5 spaces.
Yeah.
It's like a compact spot on that very eastern end of that map. So.
I just know we were looking for the parking places for electric car charging facilities, and we didn't do it because of the parking places being lost. And I didn't know if there was any other location that we could look at for this instead of using parking places. That's the only issue.
Yeah, the type of grants I looked at, different underused areas of the city. I didn't want to look at Marshall Park because this, may tend to be more like modern looking, and I wanted to fit like the vibe that you already have going at Marshall Park with the gazebo that's cute and historic. And then I was looking, and I didn't want to take any of because the parking lot across, I don't know where I'm oriented right now in the building, like right there, it's used a lot. Is it over there? Am I lost inside the building? But it's used a ton, so I didn't want to take any of that up. And then, in all the time that we've been talking about this for about 3 months, I haven't noticed anybody but one single cop car that likes to park there. Not in those spots, but in the area just north. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a very underutilized spot.
Yeah, and I thought that would help us with the grant opportunity, because they really want to take, a diamond in the rough, so to speak, polish it up and make it something good.
Well, I like I said, I met with you and looked at it with you, and it's very minimal loss of parking spots. And there again, in events, we don't really use that because it's blocked off for police and fire and public works use. So, I mean, it's 3.5 spots, let's say, that I don't have a problem with.
I guess the answer to my question is yes, it locks us in.
Yeah, we are hoping to do, we are going to plan it out. Sorry, I didn't mean to avoid your question. But, yeah, I believe that the grant doesn't have a ton of flexibility once it's submitted. But, you have finalization period within, the months after. It's, awarded in June, and then July is going to have everything finalized before they send in the money.
I got a question.
Sure.
Jackson be painting some of the roads, is that part of it?
Washington Avenue from Porter to Calvary.
Correct.
So Carolyn, what does that do in historic districts?
I don't think that it really had, the historic district itself is not really
Yeah, I don't think
impacted.
that's a historic district down that
Yeah,
section of it.
that section is not historic.
Okay.
Once you get south of it, it is, but that section is not technically. And we've never dealt with right-of-way in a historic district, but that's just outside of it anyway.
So we did talk about being thoughtful about ensuring that drivers didn't lose their mind, what's going on, what side of the road should I be driving on? So we're talking, the plan as it sits, and it's not final. This part we can still wiggle around. It's doing different color palettes on either direction of the road. So southbound, would be maybe cool neutrals or something like that, and then you can have yellows and oranges and things going in the other direction, and having nothing that would look like any kind of emergency, obviously no stop written on there or anything like that. And then WAMA's already already gotten approval to do their cool crosswalk over to the cottage. So we thought, like, we didn't even know about that at that time, but it'd be kind of like a cool tie-in to do that. And I think it actually would be like a really neat, again, at this point of the grant, to like bring everybody together. But, you know, the community center wants to do a project. The state now said that they would organize a team to help do the area front event. We thought it'd be neat to have like a citywide competition for the kids, like to go to the children's park, you know, and they can design an aspect within some type of rules and guidelines.
And I think also it kind of acts as it'll act as a traffic calming, because we've had complaints about speeders on regular Washington. So with all of that art and busy stuff going on, it'll help calm the traffic.
The only thing I would ask is, when we get through this and it's approved and we do it, is that we do portions at a time.
Yes, we don't want to close.
Not stop traffic
Yeah.
altogether, because we've got several businesses, plus Women, and Senior Center,
Right.
Center, and St. Alphonsus, and Little Children's Park, so we've got to be mindful
lot
of
of
that, so
traffic.
that's the biggest thing.
And have we
Just worried about how long does it take to, in other words, once you paint it?
We're looking
How
at
does it take to dry the 24 hours?
Oh, I don't believe the drying time would be significant.
Close the road down, so.
No, they're not closing the road. They're not proposing closing the road. You do a little, like, a quarter of the road all the way down. And the
Yeah,
next
I
quarter,
understand. I just wonder how much it takes to dry. I understand that part.
Yeah, so this execution has to be done in the July through November timeframe, so it will be really hot when we do it. So presumably it would be no more than 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. The types of paint we're looking at, I'm not, again, I do spreadsheets, so I'm not the paint expert, but we're looking at 2 different types of paint. We talked with Miss Heather at Ocean Springs Lumber and somebody at Sherwin-Williams about different types, and both of them did not have long drying times.
These pictures are not in residential areas, so people that live in houses that are gonna be on this is gonna be okay.
Yeah, these, so the area, I believe there's 1 or 2 only residential. So there's the law office that's for sale, there's the park, there's, essentially Knuckleheads and Walter Anderson and the Senior Center, and then on the other side, what's on the?
There's grade 1, there's Tony, there's Coward.
But this isn't really talking about, like, as far as that stage goes, we're not talking about having amplified music and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
This is just for, like.
No, I'm talking about on the street, painting the street. I mean, these people that live there.
Yeah.
Putting this in front of their house. I mean, I think it's a good idea, don't get me wrong, but, I'm gonna get,
Somebody,
Maybe we
find
could
somebody
just
to like.
Yeah, because I mean,
Talking about maybe.
I think neighbors should have some input on it if it's gonna be in front of their house, because like I said, this isn't a, open street area, business district, not in front of homes.
But we could definitely put them on our committee with WAMA, because I basically, the way we have it, we're having a subcommittee within our Osprey organization for the art section of this. I don't have an art history degree, so we could definitely put the neighbors on the advisory committee, and they can be part of the process.
What happens if they don't want it?
Don't want it at all, they'd have to withdraw our grant application for this portion, I guess.
I mean,
We can always accept it, and if, some problems arise.
like I said, I'm not trying to kill it, I'm just, I just know that there's gonna be some people that are gonna be anxious when they see something that different in front of their house.
Well, I would definitely, like you said, that you see a lot of primary bright colors, that's not necessarily what you're gonna get, those are just examples. So, I wouldn't get too, it's not gonna glow in the dark. Because that's one of the things we talked about with the WAMA crosswalk. And we've been looking at several opportunities to do artistic crosswalks. So we would want to be able to look at the color pattern and make sure that it's not something that is distracting visually to drivers, like you said, knowing which side of the road that you're on, but that also distraction from the neighboring properties, whether they're residential or commercial, would also be taken into account as far as.
But, you have to agree that the WAMA project is a little bit different. I mean,
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just saying in general, the same thing is looking at the color schemes to
Right.
make sure that no matter how large or small, we would, that was
That's the only
our
input I have
crosswalk.
in is that the neighbor, I think the neighbors need input on this, if it's gonna be right in front of their houses. I mean,
I agree with you, Rick. You have to knock on that door, so.
Yeah, you might have to now.
Explain what's going on.
Yeah, it's only 2, I think, residential hubs. I'd be happy to go talk with them.
The rest of our businesses.
This will be in conjunction with the Whamma crosswalk, though, it won't
The WAMA, yeah, they'll have that, I believe, done.
see the difference.
Yeah, yes, yeah. They're gonna have, the Walter Anderson themed art in theirs, and this, we talked about, this is where I wish the Julian was here to talk about the art. He talked about, like, geometric designs that are naturally occurring in nature that you see repeated over time, and how, like, that's very pleasing to the eye. He also talked a lot about negative space, that, so not the entire thing would be painted, A, for cost, and B, for time, and C, just to, like, let your eye rest on something. So, like, downtown Jackson, the only other award ARP's granted in the state is for Jackson, Mississippi, and they did big blue circles to allow basically like a pop-up pocket park so they could close it down for festivals and things like that. And, you know, we thought that we're in our community, we need to like step it up. Circles aren't that exciting, so.
All right. I got one question. You know, I get a lot of requests for speed bumps, to be honest with you. And I know it sounds kind of funny, but I mean, can you actually paint and fake speed bump?
That's Mr. Blackman's like favorite thing, yes. These are, so these, like, Mr. Dawson was saying, these are all traffic calming measures. So they will slow it down, and also the fake speed bumps, they're difficult to execute, but even just an artistic crosswalk or things like that will calm traffic, we found in our research. So, you know, we talked a little bit about, like, over by the harbor, you could do a fish skeleton and, like, the bones be the crosswalk. Or I was thinking, like, if this works out well, or even if we have support, maybe along government, we have crosswalks that are artistic, kind of fun. You can have scissors outside your shop. You can have donuts inside Tana.
You don't have to be downtown.
John said that's something that I've worked on with Liz, and we're trying to find an artist that can draw these 3D speed bumps or crosswalks. And until you get right up on it, it looks like you're fixing to go over a bump.
You can make a hole in them until they make it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just a way to make people think. It's like this traffic calming.
You do a pop, fake pop.
Yeah.
I've got 2 places where I'm going to put those.
We don't have to fake that. We got
I got 2 places I'm going to put those as soon as we find the right person to do it and the right paint to do it with. So, Alan tried it, but it looked like a big glove.
I don't have artists, I have workers.
Yeah.
This, when do you have to? What's the deadline
The
again?
mission is April 14th.
April 14th. So we're gonna get it done today. May.
Look, if this isn't, if we prove it today, it's not like we're proving, you know, it's gonna happen. I mean, there's always a possibility to go back.
You have to agree with Rick, yes, we need to get with the homeowners. And
Yeah,
that's,
glad
I don't
to
think
do
that's
that.
a big deal. Nicole, do you see any issues?
Well, I mean, I haven't looked at it other than what I saw in the packet, and then today, I can't come up with any off the top of my head, but I'd love to read over the PowerPoint kind of
So,
grasp.
if we approve going forward with, you know, the conditions of, you know, Nicole doing her research and, you know, Ricky, if you would like, I think you would be able to Liz to go and speak with the residents, I think at least we'll get her on track to get the application in. And like you said, if there's an objection, we just withdraw it, or stay withdrawing it.
Yeah.
To be taking over the maintenance and upkeep of this, will that be, the city, or will that be?
Well, it's
We
city
don't have
property.
artists.
So, yeah, the art portion we talked about with WAMA, since they do summer camps, they do all this community involvement, they thought that would be like a good reoccurring thing for them to work on throughout their summer camps and things like that. In speaking with Ms. Kirkland at the Jackson County Action Committee, she said that her residents all the time want to have little repairs and fun things to do, and, you know, they're retired, they get some pet projects. So, we don't have firm details on that specifically, but as far as the furniture and the stage, presumably that would be, over to the city.
I just want to add one last thing.
This is one of the bars.
Is that I noticed one of your locations was right there on Washington Avenue. Okay, now there's a four-way stop at Washington and Government. Well, three-way stop, I'm sorry. That one.
Yeah, we won't touch the pretty bricks.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
Okay, but what I'm talking about is that three-way stop, cars used to slide because it's concrete. Used to come up that three-way stop and slide. So we had someone come in and grind it out. You remember that, Alan? It's actually grinded about 100 feet, maybe 50 feet each way on that three-way stop. So I suggest they clear that.
Okay.
It's not going that far, they're only going to go to Porter.
Well, they had one, the one you showed up there was
There's
on Washington.
Washington Avenue from Porter to Calhoun.
Yeah.
So it's not going.
Oh, yeah, we're not gonna
The
go.
one she had a dot on the one right there by the three-way intersection.
Oh, no, I don't believe we intentionally put it out anywhere that far north. The area would be from knuckleheads to the children's park, essentially. And we that's perfect road for it because it's not blacktop, it's not gonna get, redone frequently as concrete. And again, it's not precious, like, repair needs to be done, I think we talked about that. It'll be okay, like, it's art, but it's not like hanging in a gallery, obviously, cars are gonna drive over it, so.
All right, well, we'll, I think whenever we get further down the road, we'll get the designs figured out and maybe do another presentation on what it's going to look like.
Sure.
So we'll do that, we'll plan on that, but other than that, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and next up, the school district has a banner project for downtown like we did last year.
Yeah, well, actually, we skipped last year.
Oh, that's right, yeah, we skipped last year, it was the year before last.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I'm Vicki Timberlake, principal at Ocean Springs High School. And I'm actually here for the district, not really for my high school right now. We've partnered with different sponsors. Well, this year it's Mississippi Power. And we did this not last year, but the year before. And the Steins had sponsored it. And then last year we planned to do it again, but the shutdown, we didn't get a chance to get the stuff into the banners. But Brad Bradford had gotten us a grant from Mississippi Power to be able to do it last year, so we just carried it over to this year. So I just wanted to give y'all a little sneak peek. This is a third banner. We were able to add 2 more banners this year, so I think we're up to 28. I'm not sure, but they look like that. They have a student's name on the bottom. Can you see that over there? And they have a student's name on the bottom in 3rd grade in Magnolia Park. So it's not like identifying. They can just, it is on both sides. And so it's the different art. And all the students, they pick their own theme and do their own thing. And so they, that was just a, and this is a high school. So they range all over the place, like, really, really fancy and all kind of, some of them you see and you go, really? And then the other ones you look at and you go, wow, gosh, can't believe we have somebody that can do that in Ocean Springs. But this is like a 10th grader at the high school.
How many of those you have?
I think 28 this year. We had added 2 more to our list, and so I can't tell which one of y'all are talking, so I don't know. Look at it. But anyway, so I think we have enough of the what do you call it, banner things, the hooks to go on there, and that's not a problem. So if you, I would like to let you know too that I'm retiring this year, so I'm going to be, I'm not going away, I'm just retiring. So I would like to keep this project going though in my retirement. I've already kind of written it up for the school district, and so if we can get sponsored, that we can continue to do it each year. I just think it's a really good thing for the schools and the city to be a partner in something, and then the visitors can see it because they're up all summer long, and then people come to our city and they see all the good art. And the best thing about it is I live a couple streets over, and I don't mind about the street paint either. But when I'm riding through town a lot, I'll see the kids once they put them out. They'll be out there posing under their banner and taking pictures and doing. So they're super proud. I've already gotten an email from one of them asking me when they were going to go up. So they just are super duper proud of having their artwork downtown and getting displayed. So just wanted to thank y'all and show y'all a little sample of what we're going to do.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this. I think it's fantastic. It helps promote the arts and the district all in one. And so we're happy to do it. And congratulations on your retirement.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now when I come look for a sponsor next year. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Good luck. All right. We're going to go to agenda public comment now. We've allotted 30 minutes for this, and this is reserved for anything specific on the agenda, whether it be old business, new business, consent, or what have you. So if you have anything if you'd like to address any particular item on the agenda, you can come to the podium now for up to 3 minutes. All right. And now to old business. Item A, 1019 Government Street under counter grease trap proposal. So we discussed this at the last meeting, and I believe we have an update. Alan?
The paperwork that I submitted, the owner brought to me, he's wanting to do 50 pounds, which I sent it to James also. And then James, I know we said that you didn't think 50 pounds was sufficient.
Well,
I mean, I'm going to let you explain it because you do better with the grease trap than I.
What size are you thinking about?
well, for what they submitted, that's what Darrell asked me to look at was what the developer had submitted. And I didn't agree with the drain tub on the seat. Sent y'all an email to explain what. And the fact that that alone would double the size that they would need. They were trying to, or they submitted a 25 gallon per minute grease trap or grease retainer under the sink. And they didn't include the dishwasher, which adds a small load to it, but it still adds a load. And they didn't include the dump sink, which I don't know what's going to be dumped into there. So anyway, all this stuff that they have, where their kitchen plan is, it's all in a row down that wall. This grease interceptor should be the last thing past all of the equipment in there. And I just felt like that the one they submitted won't handle the triple sink and a 1 minute drain. So from what they submitted, I would suggest that they go to the 50 gallon a minute unit, which is 100 pound, capacity for grease in there, and that will handle the triple sink, which is going to produce 32 gallons a minute, I think, at peak flow on there, and then whatever the dishwasher, which I think is only 2 gallons a minute, the one that they're using, plus the dump sink, whatever that adds. So a 50 gallon a minute unit, if we're going to let them use that, would be, I think, a sufficient.
Then I would agree that's fair. I mean, if we're making a concession, I think that would be only fair that that's what we would require them to do.
With that said, I know in the last meeting we didn't do the size, but the dump sink, the dishwasher, and all that has already been run to the existing grease trap. That was all done under slab. That's when they were allowed to go ahead and proceed with the plumbing. So they did that, which the 2 mop sinks were already tied into the existing 1,000. So all that's in there. So this one basically, it would be, unless they put a separate one under the dump sink, it would be separated, because this would be going under the 3 compartment sink.
Okay, so that would tie the dishwasher.
Dishwasher and all that
stuff. Don't sink into this.
Yeah, it's already going into the existing lines to the other. This one's also gonna do it too, but this is kind of like a secondary that we kind of thought, well, make them do this, and then this still goes to the existing also. It's kind of like a backup.
Yeah, well, that's it.
So,
yeah, it's up to y'all, you know, all we could do is y'all, you know, give them a variance on this. It's just monitor the, you know, the one that they're sharing with Char and check this one under the seat. That's all we can do.
Well, the only issue I have with that is that if we just let them do a 25 and then it does, and then we monitor it and it's an issue, then we go back and make them change it. I mean, why wouldn't we just do it right the first time?
I don't think the owner has a problem with increasing the size of it. In fact, he's more relieved to do this than he is that.
I think that'd be the safest thing to do. I mean,
well, the 25 won't even handle the triple C, according to the, you know, specs that they provide. Because it's got 30, I think it's 32.87 gallons at peak flow from the triple C. So the 25 gallon a minute was not going to, you know, work for that. So the next thing that they have a 35 gallon, which I would say is kind of marginal.
That's the 70 pound?
Yeah, 70 pounds, and then the 50 gallon a minute one, which is 100 pounds.
So I'm looking at the dimensions, there's not a lot of size difference.
No. We're talking about a tank here that's going to hold, the 25 gallon one per minute flow only holds 20 gallons of wastewater. And, you know, my whole issue with this is we come back to the 24-minute retention time for the grease to separate out from the wastewater, and the water going through that, you know, 25 gallons will be in there a minute, 1 minute. So,
yeah.
I mean, you know, we're talking minimal dimensions. I looked at the dimension sheet. I mean, it's actually the 50 pound or 50 gallon 100 pound is actually long ways quarter inch short, but it's 5 inches wide. So I don't see a problem with that. It's not going to take up more space for us.
So we need a motion for this?
Yeah, I believe so.
Then I would like to make a motion that at 1019 Sweet D Government Street, under counter grease trap, that we don't accept the proposal we got for the 25, and we require 50.
All right, motion, Mr. Alderman.
Second.
Second, Mr. Blackman. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, new business. Discuss adopting an ordinance to amend ordinances 2016-06, 2017-04, and 2019-28, which established leisure and recreation districts and designated the areas to revise Chapter 4.5, Article 3 of the Code of Ordinances to establish West Fort Bayou Arts and Entertainment District. This is something that we worked with the planning department and Nicole to come up with a new entertainment district. There's a new business that's going to be located where McElroy's is now. They are planning on really expanding the whole, well, I don't know if expanding is the right word. How would you describe the scale?
Well, it's going to just be a different venue. It's a restaurant. It'll still be a restaurant bar situation. But they're also looking at an adjacent property. So there are 3 contiguous commercial properties in that area. So that's what we're looking at, not just the McElroy's existing building, but 2 other existing properties that are properly zoned for this type of activity.
And for the record, everybody knows this does not connect Gills or Aunt Jenny's or even our downtown or Porter Avenue district. I mean, this is strictly just to encompass just those 3 businesses.
This would actually be our 4th district. The Porter Avenue and downtown actually do touch, but they are 2 separate districts. They start out that way. And then the 3rd is that encompasses just Gills and Aunt Jenny's and Anthony's. And then this would be the 4th. Right. When they do not connect, it does not mean you can go from one to the other. They're contained.
Now, this is the 3rd district.
It'll technically be the 4th. Yeah. But that's because you could safely walk between them. And the only thing that we've added, if you'll see in your memo, is that the owners will have to provide that pedestrian connection between the properties because there isn't an existing sidewalk, but there are plenty of opportunities for safe pedestrian access between the properties.
And they'll be responsible for their own signage, not that for the district and stuff
Right,
like that.
it'll work
Okay.
just like the other, we'll provide maps just like we did on the other ones to say this is the edge of it.
But I think we did the garbage cans though, right?
We did the garbage cans in the downtown area. We put the signs on existing garbage cans. So I don't know, we didn't look at it that far as far as implementation, but yeah.
Can we explain to the way it goes from here when we approve it?
Well, and Nicole, I know that we have to, if you all approve this as the boundaries, we have to send it to the state because it's ultimately the tax revenue, Department of Revenue that approves the boundaries, and if they approve, then we can implement the ag district.
So it's gotta go to the state?
Yes. After y'all, give your, decision, whatever your decision is, that will be sent to the state, and then we can't implement until we get back to the state.
Once the state approves it, then what do we do?
I don't think they have to do
Does it have to come?
No, I mean, we give the regulations to the individual businesses that are in the district. They have to meet the regulations that are outlined in the statute. I know that prior to sending, your decision to the state, which we would only send an approval, we wouldn't send a denial. So once we send your approval, assuming that you approve it, then we also have to submit with that plan, a plan from the police department on how they would regulate that area, being that it's a little different than, just any other part of the town. So that would go along with, what would be submitted to the state. And then, once we get back the either approval or the denial of the state, then we'll give the individual owner notice, and it will be on them to make sure they comply with the statute.
Will there be notices sent out to residents?
You could notice, I don't think that's required, but you can notice whomever you want. But as far as enforcement and the boundaries of it, it does not allow anyone to leave those subject properties. I think there's a total of 4 parcels and 3 businesses, as you see in your packet. They would not be able to leave those properties. So it should not, that's the only difference. Those are properties that are already eligible for restaurant and bar activity per their zoning, their zone commercial highway. So it doesn't change anything other than they could walk between properties just as you could downtown.
I'm curious, where is the arts house or the arts and entertainment district we're discussing?
Well, that's actually the name of it as far as the state was recreation and leisure. I think we called them arts and entertainment districts, on the local level, but the state statutes or laws refer to them as recreation and leisure.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, full disclosure, I voted against the entertainment districts. I think that's part of the contributing factor to the issues we're having in some areas of downtown now. I'm just curious about that arts part.
I just got one last question. I know we sent the entertainment district up to the state.
Yeah.
Come back. What's the time zone up in?
I don't, that was all done when everybody was doing it at the same time, and I really wasn't involved in that side of it. Once it was sent to the state, but I don't think it took very long to get a response time. And they were doing everybody's at the same time, so.
Any other discussion, or is there a motion to go ahead and approve this?
I make a motion that we adopt the ordinance as amended.
Motion, Mr. Alderman.
Second.
Second, Mr. Gill. Any further discussion?
I just, consensus, would y'all like to send notices out to the neighbors around the area? Or, for us to just move on?
Say it again, Bob, I couldn't.
Would you like to send notices out to the residents that live around the area to let them know what's going on?
They already
I don't think it's a requirement.
It's not required.
Well, they can't walk on anybody else's.
No, I mean,
notifications or press release that you want us to do, you know, just as a courtesy.
That's just a press release being done.
All right, yeah, we'll discuss how to specifics on the notification, and we'll certainly get that out there.
It'll be on the being informed page.
Which one? All right, so we'll need a roll call for this. So, Mr. Go?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion passes. All right, and next up, discuss adding RFP for pre-position contract for emergency sanitary sewer pumping, dry heating, and transport. Not sure who's going to Alan, did you?
I'm not sure what it
I
sent this to the
I thought it was gonna do our contract almost up or something.
That's what I'm helping.
We do not have one currently. There are other cities along the coast that have one, and this would be strictly for an emergency situation. You got, when I sent the email to you guys, you said that you thought that it should be added to the other RFPs that were the pre-contract, pre-position contracts that you're currently going after.
So in my understanding, this would be exactly like the debris removal contracts and monitoring contracts, where there's no cost to enter into a contract, and it will only be enacted in the event of emergency. And if Alan and his group didn't have the equipment or manpower to deal with emergency sewer issues and whatnot, then we would implement this policy.
When I asked Vicki, she said, I think maybe this was to put in that group that you guys are going to be, or whatever y'all had came up with, y'all's, is there a committee that's going to talk about these kind of things? Just to add this to that group, is the way I was understanding it. Is that right, Vicki? This group has to be added to, for y'all to discuss when y'all's committee meets.
I mean, there's no harm, I don't see a harm in it, I don't see a need for it, but I don't see the harm in doing it, since there's no cost to enter into the emergency contract if we enact as we need to. Yeah,
This makes sense to me. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, motion to approve by Mr. Gill. Seconded by Mr. Papania. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, item C, discuss adopting a resolution appointing Wade Morgan to the Gulf Regional Planning Commission's Board of Commissioners. About a year and a half ago, roughly, Paul Gavitt started head of the GRPC and made a push to go ahead and fill all of the seats from all the municipalities throughout the coast. At that time, I went ahead and appointed myself. It was something that I wanted to, take the bull by the horns, and it's been a great opportunity to learn more about, all transportation and different projects throughout the coast. Really great organization, but obviously after June 30th, I won't be here anymore, and I talked to Carolyn and Wade, and I think that I'd like to go ahead and appoint Wade to fill the rest of the term, so I'll ask for a motion to approve that.
And I had Vicki, send out, or give y'all the resolution that I drafted, because it
Oh, I'm
was
sorry,
in the
yeah, we got
packet.
one, yeah.
So, just make sure when y'all approve the resolution that you, make the motion to include that resolution in the minutes. Or if you decide to do something else, but.
To clarify, GRPC has several boards and commissions and committees. So this commission is kind of like their oversight board. So they talk about the daily operations of GRPC. It's, I attend the policy committee and the technical committee where we delve into everyone's projects, like all of our TIP funded, our inbound funded projects, they all go through GRPC. So this is more of the board that oversees the daily operations of GRPC and all their projects, not just the ones that we're involved in. So it's a good oversight, and when Mayor and I talked about it, and Wade has got all that, the experience as far as how these types of commissions should run. So it's good, a good fit to have him, and that way we kind of know more, because they don't just do the projects that the cities do as far as infrastructure. They do a lot of studies, a lot of other broader projects. So it's good to be involved.
And they only meet once a month, on the last Wednesday of the month. So
it's not gonna, Wade's not gonna have to spend, much hours a week or anything.
I have one question, and Wade, don't take offense to this, I'm just asking, is this historically, you were on it, is it historically mayors that are on it?
No.
I'm just asking.
No, I thought it was,
Because
but
I
it's
wanted
not.
to say if we needed to wait.
No, I was actually the only elected official.
He was the
I'm
only
pretty sure I was actually the only elected official.
In fact, it's not, some of them don't even, I don't even know if they're employees, I don't recognize.
Yeah,
their names, so.
there was
More staff.
assistant, executive assistants on there. There was planning directors. There was, just whoever was chosen to represent the city.
Not a problem, I just want to make sure it wasn't,
Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was interesting to learn a lot about throughout what's going on the coast. It's very eye-opening. Do I have a motion to?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Wade Morgan to the Gulf Regional Planning Commission.
Motion.
To include the resolution in the minutes.
All right, motion, Mr. Blackman. Second on Mr. Cox. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, and now we've got the consent agenda. Does anybody have any items for the consent? All right.
If no one has anything, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion on Mr. Enby, second on Mr. Gill. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, to department reports. Discuss the proposed fee schedule with the addition of nonprofit charity benefit rate for walk run and special event permits. Megan?
Yeah, so the majority of special events and walk runs that we get are charity functions. They're for someone with cancer, they're for a school or a local church. And I have been asking you guys to waive a lot of fees for them because I didn't feel like charging $75 for a charity run is going to be very profitable for the charity. So I had recommended having like a nonprofit rate. We still have other events that come in that would pay the full price, but I would like to have a nonprofit rate. That way you guys don't have to continue to waive all fees, but you just have a smaller fee for them.
I think that's very good idea. You have a schedule
all the
yet?
time.
I was going to do effective May 1st.
No, I mean, the schedule, I wasn't looking
Yes.
at the screen.
So right now, walk runs are $50. For the nonprofit, I wanted to do $15. And special events are $75, and I wanted to do $25. That way it was enough to cover the time that, me and PD put into it to plan it, but not a large amount for them.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I think it's a good idea.
So it'll save you some time on it.
Well, it saves it from coming to us to be waived as well.
Correct. Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve, Mr. Cox, second on Mr. Bellman. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And
Yeah.
Megan, you want to talk about the website? Is that, you want to wait for that?
Do you want to do it now?
So she can, yeah, she could give a little presentation because we don't want to wait 2 more weeks about the Mary C website, or we can wait until the next agenda that just puts us 2 more weeks before we get started. We had a meeting this morning.
Y'all were
still
the contract.
Yeah. Do y'all want to have a little presentation, or do you want to push it 2 weeks?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
So I met with Sarah, Patty, and Vicki this morning to go over the website. We had 2 quotes and we looked at them. There were 2 very, very good quotes. We went through everything on them to make sure that we were going to have the same security, the same resources, and it'll take as much traffic as we can. There's a lot of special things that Sarah needs, such as tickets, barcode scanners. It's very specific stuff, so we made sure the websites can do that. The quote that I had sent you guys before is from the same company that is currently doing our website now. That is the one that, after we looked at it, we think is going to be the best for the city to move forward with.
That's the same one that currently hosts our city.
Correct. Yeah, they host the domain. They put it on their server. They provide all the security. If we have HTML coding back issues, they're available for support almost 24/7.
They're very
And it's
responsive.
ADA compliant.
They're
Yeah.
very responsive. Megan can call them at pretty much any time, and they'll
will help us out with whatever we need for.
Correct.
Very good. I recommend we go ahead and approve that. Is there a motion? You want me to look at it, dive into it?
Okay, what the cost was 6,000?
Yeah, 6,000 to implement it, and then the monthly fee. I was talking with Eric before the meeting. The monthly fee is going to be in between 150 and 250, depending on what size package we ultimately go with. So that's something that we'll just kind of work out when we get there.
Make a motion, we allow Megan to move forward with the implementation of the website.
Second.
What was the name?
Future design.
Future Design.
All right, motion, Mr. Cox, second, Mr. Blackman. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. All right, and now to the docket of claims. Anybody have anything for the docket of claims?
Okay, I got a couple things that need to be adjusted, Mr. Mayor. Vendor 5068, Clayton Street Experts, 2 invoices made it onto the docket that are currently in the works. Remove 001-191-689-000 for the $1,500, and remove number 174-400-600-0600 for $4,800. The $1,300 will remain. That work has been completed.
Get all that, Nick?
Yeah.
All right.
If there's nothing else, I'll make a motion to adopt the docket of claims minus those 2 invoices.
All right, motion, Mr. Henry, second, Mr. Blackman. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And monthly budget report. Is there a motion to accept that?
Make a motion to accept the monthly budget report.
All right, motion by Mr. Henry, second, Mr. Hoffman. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Public Works approved emergency response plan for the Ocean Springs water system acquired by NSDH. Alan?
I'm not 100% sure on that. That's James.
Dave? Come on down.
This is a standardized form that the State Department of Health has had out there since 2010. It has not been mandatory up until this year. And our lady that's coming to do our water inspection tomorrow has informed us that we have to have board approval of it. So that's why it's before you. They're requiring it. We have in our water system documentation in the vulnerability and assessment section, we have all of this identical same information, and we have our own emergency response plan, which is almost identical to this, but it's not their form, and it doesn't have the little last page in it that it's approved by the governing board. So that's what we're really asking for, is for y'all to approve it, sign off on it tonight, and I'll get the mayor to sign it so that we can have it in our books tomorrow when this lady comes to do the inspection. But again, we have this duplicated, in our existing document. It's just something that they're required to do.
Makes sense.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this thing was set up mostly for a water system, like a community water system or something that doesn't, they have their own board that controls that water system, sort of like JCUX, except on a smaller scale, way smaller scale. But anyway, they've applied it to everybody now. Every city has to do this too.
And it's redundant, but it's not an issue. It's finished everything we've got except for a couple pages, it looks like, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the emergency response plan for the Ocean Springs water system required by NSDH.
All right, motion, Mr. Anthony.
Second.
Second, Mr. Cox. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, item E. Alan, request to extend the
We just
agreement.
want to extend the contract with Grassmasters. It's in the original contract that we could
Well,
extend it.
There's not a contract, but the going out for RFPs for grass masters, I guess, about a year ago, or went out for RFPs and decided to go with grass masters. And they've agreed pursuant to, I think, the letter that's in your packet to the same terms and conditions. I've asked Candace to get a contract from them because, as you all know, we have to spread the contract on the minutes. So I ask that you make it contingent upon us getting a contract to spread upon the minutes outlining the terms and conditions and pending my review and approval.
That's what we want.
All right, so moved by Mr. Cox.
Second.
Second by Mr. Blagman. All right, discussion.
I'm sorry, I was sitting here in stunned silence at his mastery of the motion making.
No need to repeat.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we come to general public comment. We allotted 30 minutes for this. If anybody would like to address the board, you may come to the podium for up to 3 minutes.
I've got something today. Stephen keeps getting a letter from the guy about the 4th of July.
Yeah.
That's about the third time he's sent something, so he just needs to know whether or not he's holding the date. Is that correct, Stephen?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we'll discuss that in just a second. Is there anybody who would like to address the board for up to 3 minutes? Seeing none, okay. All right, so Alderman's forum, and let's discuss that. So what do we feel about July 4th?
I thought we had talked about doing it on the night that Biloxi does their fireworks, and just let people go to Front Beach and pop their own fireworks and spin the show from across instead of spending that much money for a smaller fireworks show. I mean, they're already going to be on the beach. They can pop same thing they normally do, and they can see what Biloxi is doing clear. So I mean,
I don't
yeah.
agree. I mean, I think the budget is, we got enough money in the budget to do it.
It's $15,000 for 11 minutes.
Yeah, that's not working.
But you could still have music if you guys wanted to. I mean, you wouldn't have to do away with the music up at Fort Maxwell.
I don't know, we've done fireworks for, if I can remember why we want to stop now. And it ain't like I remember days when the budget was tight, but the budget's not tight.
The budget's going to be very tight, 2% with all the repairs, very tight. I mean, there's thousands of dollars needed at Gay Lemon, Fort Malpaw, the pier. It's going to be a big year on 2% to try to finish out things that are either insurance matched, FEMA matched, items that we needed to go ahead and do. We're going to try while we've got the contractors engaged to get these things back up to par. So it's going to be a hard hit. It's going to be one of the hardest hits we've had on 2%. Due to the opportunities that arise from that. I'm not telling you not to, I'm just telling you that 2% is going to get more use this year than it's probably been used in the last 5 years.
Okay, well, I'm speaking of the general budget, you're talking about 2%.
Well, that's how it's been paid, John.
Yeah, that's where the money would come out of.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I mean, you can take it, I guess, out of that, but it comes out of 2%, or y'all got it donated before.
But I think if we have food trucks down there and it closes the street, let people pop their fireworks like they normally do, I think it would be just as nice of a night.
I agree.
Well, it was pretty disappointing last year. It was nice to have fireworks, but it was like it was over by the time you started watching it. And it was just, for that much money, if we could get a better show for that much money, it'd be different. It was over in no time.
I mean, you know, we don't give back a lot of money to the public. In other words, something they can physically see and do. I mean, you know, and that's something I think a lot of kids look forward to. A lot of people in Ocean Springs look forward to.
We get a big crowd.
I mean,
He just needs to
I think we should do it. I think we should keep the fireworks show. Now, whether it comes out of general budget, we'll have to split it maybe 2% and some out of general budget.
I think the big point is it's just we're not getting the bang for our buck. I had to do it, man. You know, the cost doesn't fit the value we're getting out of this 11-minute show. So
I think
I
we
agree.
could put
Like
landscape.
everything else, cost goes up, Rob. You
Yeah.
go to the grocery store and get milk.
Cost goes up.
It goes
so
up,
go down.
everything goes up, you know.
I'd like to see some great landscaping when we go back to Fort Montauk.
Mhm.
I'd like to see us consider making it more landscaped, more beautiful. You know, I'd like to see the money put more in the landscaping, because we got some areas, John, as you know, Fort Bayou always has to have a lot of landscaping. You know, so maybe we could.
No,
put
wait a
it
minute,
there.
Pat, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute, we gone from fireworks to landscape. You trying to justify this as landscaping in Fort Bayou? Don't do that, Patty, that's not the
Fort
way.
Montauk needs some landscape.
Yeah, you said.
The thing is, Biloxi's fireworks is so big of a show that people on the East Beach are watching it. I mean, and if we have a controlled place for people to pop fireworks on the beach, that's really the biggest part that they like the most out of it.
I don't know. I know people enjoy them fireworks and look forward to it every year. Whatever we got, if we got to take money out of general budget to do it,
There's no
I
doubt.
think we should.
No, I mean, there's no doubt, John, it's crowded down there when it comes to
Yeah.
fireworks show.
Right on the fourth
But
too,
this,
instead of the third.
the 11-minute show just,
And that way we don't have to stress our.
like you said, it wasn't a bang for the buck. If we could negotiate a better show,
Sounds like the desire is not there.
it was really disappointing last year to me.
I don't know, I think, yeah,
No, we-
disappointed people.
And we've typically had ours on July 3rd, which puts 2 nights of overtime and long hours on public works, our fire department, our police department, and for what we're getting back, it's just nice. I was there last year, and
Well-
I agree with Alderman Cox. By the time everybody started doing it on, it was over, and I said, well, wait a minute.
You know, the thing about it is, you're putting a cost on something that is a family deal, the family outing, you can go on the beach. I mean, you know, you're putting a cost on it, and to me, you know, that it's invaluable. People enjoy it so much, the family thing. You know, they go down there, they enjoy watching the fireworks. If you look at that beach down there, they have weenie rolls, they have fire pits lit, you know, and they enjoy it, you know, make a family thing out of it. You go out with peers.
Well,
Do you want to make a motion, or do you, I mean?
They're gonna do the same
Yeah,
thing. People are gonna do the same thing and watch the Biloxi fireworks instead of us having to pay for an 11-minute show. They're still gonna be out there doing the same things you just said, watching the fireworks across the bay.
You tell your constituents that. You tell them,
I just did.
hey, we're not gonna do it, you go look at Biloxi fireworks.
Well,
That's what you're telling the people, but.
Tell them to come to our beach.
I'm having to tell this district right now that my parks ain't open and my pier's not fixed because we don't have the money, and now we're gonna burn it instead.
That's all FEMA.
No, it's not.
Well, let's go ahead
Some of that.
and, let's go ahead and make a motion, or.
Yeah, do we want to let Megan take a shot at negotiating her budget here?
Bring it down. 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Just bring it down something. I mean, yeah, why don't you just negotiate?
I don't really have a whole lot of opinion on it. I mean, I can understand both perspectives, but Bobby's right. It seems like it's over like that. But I mean, John's right as well.
They
It's
all
nice
are
for the
over
community.
like that. They all are.
I'm not saying I don't like the fireworks. I'd just like to see a better show if we're gonna make it. If we're gonna.
Well, you want to go ahead and make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, let Megan negotiate fireworks and see if you cut it down, you know.
I will do my
Bring the
best.
price down. Yeah, whatever we gotta do. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
All right, a motion on Mr. Gill. Is there a second?
So this is just to come back with a proposal?
Yeah, I think so. Just negotiate.
Yeah.
All right, second, Mr. Cox. Any further discussion?
Yeah, sounds like we're on a time crunch, though, right?
They've got great times, but hey, Megan, God bless you.
They must be having a problem getting a lot of shows if they're calling that much.
Maybe
Well,
get
let's-
a deal then.
Let's go at Old Mary, see if we can get a touchdown.
I will work on it tomorrow. I'll give it to you tomorrow.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
The
Motion passes.
The yays were Bobby and everybody to my right.
This is just for my I'm not saying I'm for it, I'm just saying this is, I'm gonna let y'all do that part. I think we're wasting.
Oh, Ken was a yay, I'm sorry.
I think we're wasting Megan's time because
I'm for Megan.
Okay. All right, and we'll go to Alderman's forum. Mr. Hill, you got anything?
Yeah, Alan, if you can get Mike Hale to call me. Still things that
you need flowers.
I've done. Look, I don't know him, Hey, let's talk about flowers. They stay in your downtown. I can't get them out down my I'm not even seeing my flowers. Here we go. You look like Bellingham Garden down there.
I think Mike would have tested me something if we had that.
I'm not going to scoot over here. All right. Ready? Or is that you got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a little more time. I'll find out where that bicycle rack's going to go so we can.
Just let me know.
Okay.
Ricky, do you want to talk about Memphis now?
Yeah, I guess there's been some discussion that if they can leave the stage up for 2 days, that they only close one lane. And I basically said that if they would pay to have police presence from the time the stage is up to the time it comes down, that I felt like the board would entertain that.
What was the dates on there again?
It's the actual event is May 15th. It starts at 4 p.m. ends at 11 p.m. They're just doing like one of their events where they just close the road right in front of them. They want to set the stage up Friday day. That way everything is ready. But that would mean that part of the road is going to be closed, and it would be closed all day the 14th. All day the 14th.
Can you tell us what road we're talking about?
It's Whamma, so the event is Luther Dickinson. It's already
Did we already
approved.
approve? I was going to say, I think we did.
Yeah, this is an approved event, and it already has an approved road closure. It's literally in front of Whamma, so they can walk across the street.
Washington.
Yeah, on Washington.
Remember that, yes, so we didn't know what you were talking about at first.
They want to put the stage up the day before. The stage is a little bit in the road, so they'll have to close that one side of the road. So they asked if they could leave that one side of the road closed until the end of the event. So
2 days?
Correct. It'd be all day Friday, and they would take it down very late Saturday
Got
night.
issues?
No, not really, other than, one of the things, like, for example, the fire department doesn't get to do overtime like we do and so forth. I mean, we don't mind, we could staff it with firefighters if we have to, if the chief, deputy chief wants to let them have some overtime. I mean, it's just a matter of keeping traffic off, not moving barricades. That's the biggest thing. Just don't let people move barricades. So, we can make it work. Some of these issues we've used Alan, Public Works as personnel. It works out really well, so it can be done.
We would just approve it and then, add a motion that it's going to be PD or fire.
And they were willing to pay. The only thing that she did mention was she wanted to know if during the day, if Whamma staff could staff that area and just have police officers overnight, which I don't know if we want to do that or not.
I don't think that's
No,
gonna
we
work.
can't abrogate the safety of the streets to private safety.
Okay, I'll let them know that.
I'm sorry, Nicole.
So, Mike, are you saying that Whamma's gonna pay the officers or the firemen?
Correct.
To have an extra day?
Correct.
So you have all duties out then, if that's the case, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really in favor of initially when they wanted to close the whole street down there. I mean, this seemed a little more obvious. You want to make a motion?
You have the street until the actual event.
Was that on Saturday?
Event's on a Saturday, but they want to set up on Friday.
Correct.
You know what time, around about, like evening?
The event? Oh, they said Friday morning, they want us to start working on it. I don't know if it's a big stage, I know they're working in conjunction with another group, and they just want to go ahead and get started on it.
So I can make a motion that they would close half of the street from Friday until Saturday. first they wanted the whole street closed for 2 days, and you know, he said no, that
They
wasn't
wanted
gonna work.
the lights out, there are several things that they were having.
Pretty much, we're able to do that. But, I mean, you know, like I said, it's with closing the whole street for that long, I wasn't in favor, but, you know, I mean, closing just half of it, as long as we can still get traffic.
So I would make a motion that for the Luther Dickinson event at Whamma, that we allow them to close half the street from that date, Saturday morning, Friday morning to Saturday afternoon, and it has to be manned by our public safety people. Paid by them.
All right, motion by Mr. Hoffman, second by Mr. Cox. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
I just have a couple, Alan, I had a constituent call this afternoon, over at Evelyn Drive in Oakland. There's a Zegas, they're in the right of way, and you can't see to turn on Oakland.
I talked to the code enforcement this afternoon,
If you would get that trimmed back, I mean, apparently on our right of way, if we can trim that back where you can at least see. I know, at one time we were like, I want to go revisit that everywhere, any blind corners, and address that. We've done that one time before, and apparently everything got everyone back. If we could address that for sure.
Where is this at? I'm sorry.
That's on, Evelyn and Oakland. And then the other, Carolyn, the meeting we had with the residents of Calhoun about the stop sign.
Yeah.
When we left that meeting, we called to make sure we could put the speed, either the speed trailer or the strips from Gulf Regional Planning. I didn't see that.
I've requested them, so they'll let me know when they get scheduled and that takes me out a week to get the report after that. So, but I did make the request.
I would like to at least have that documentation before we try to move forward.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It kind of got pushed back a little bit because we're working on spring break, so we didn't want that to.
Yeah, we asked them to make sure that it was on a normal, normal traffic and to avoid school, so they probably haven't deployed them yet. But I'll follow up and see when they're gonna be deployed. And it usually takes about a week and a half to get the report after, and they'll leave them out for a couple of days.
One other thing, Mindy, what do we decide to do with the fence on the corner of the harbor there, the black fence? I know we had discussed maybe poles and rope or something similar, and I didn't know what you thought about.
We haven't made a firm decision yet. You all have to make that decision. We have got some estimates, the poles and the ropes were just as expensive as the fence.
Would that be accepted, the poles and the rope? Would that
We
be?
need something that we can mitigate, that won't keep getting mangled in the storm. What we have is not appropriate, it's getting damaged, but we are still getting estimates.
Can we at least go remove that fence?
Yes, we're gonna have our in-house meeting tomorrow, and that's something we can talk about, we need to go ahead and have it removed.
I mean, if you can save it, Alan, I would try to save it, but most of us, I know the panels, you can take them separate if they're not thin enough. Most of the poles are broke off.
We didn't get to meet last week, Bobby, so we have to meet every week so we can stay focused. So
We're meeting tomorrow morning in the boardroom at 9:30. Generally, we meet at 10, but tomorrow it's 9:30, and our FEMA identification period ends next Tuesday, so we're really in the crunch to get everything identified and in the portal. So I've been making long lists that we're gonna discuss tomorrow.
And do you want to discuss Daryl or Alan maybe going down in front of each and checking on the progress?
I spoke to Daryl about it a little earlier, and I was gonna ask when this is over, I won't make everybody see the light if y'all don't want to, but if anybody wants to see the light that Donnie brought for y'all to review, before you leave, we can let it.
For the ball park?
For Parker.
Yeah.
Parker Field.
Okay, that's all I have.
A couple of things real quick. Since everybody's on Allen, I guess I will too. 4,000 volunteer reports would be able to place behind their house, outside the fence, where it appears to be maybe in right away. There's some trees, and they're trying to clean their property up on their side. And they're asking if those trees are ours or theirs. When I say trees, they're overgrown shrubs.
The things are there, I think we went out there.
Can you check that, let me know tomorrow, so I can let them know it's on their property. I mean, the fence, I would assume would be the property line, but it's not always true, so take a look and see if there's any assistance we can get there, and not, they're going to take care of themselves. We did get, Mr. King taken care of,
Yeah.
we got to pay.
His brother was trying to take care of it, he wanted to, but come to the
Well, thank you for that. Then I just want to say thank you to the city staff once again for the election night. I know y'all work late hours and
Paul McBob over there.
Paul, Bob, thank you guys for all y'all's hard work. Another long night.
Another 3 weeks, we'll do it again.
Do it again, that's right. So we appreciate y'all, we appreciate all our city staff, and it's flawless, it seems like. I'm not sure there was issues, but y'all hit them well, so thank you.
They were professional enough that nobody even knew that.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, the third member of the committee, John Rivera, I talked to him this afternoon, and he had intentions to be here as well. He sent his apologies. There was an issue with his mother-in-law. I think they had to take her to the hospital or something. So he sent his regrets. Sorry for interrupting.
No, I'm done.
Alan, were you able to get that no parking sign? I would like you to.
I got it ordered, it should be in this week.
Okay, good deal. I wanted to apprise the board, you probably don't recall it, but a couple of years ago, we had done a preliminary drawing on Dina Road expansion and improvement with Aldi definitely back on the table now in the future. I sat down and spoke with Randy Bosarge, and he is interested in doing a Steelman Lane type project with Dina Road all the way from Highway 90 to Ocean Springs Road, with much like Steelman, us doing the engineering, the sewer infrastructure work in-house, and the county taking care of the paving and the rest of it. There again, just like Steelman Lane. And Carolyn's working with you've gotten BMA the preliminary work.
Both Riley and Dina, we had already done over the years some preliminary look trying to get it funded and unsuccessfully. So we had a lot of the groundwork already done for all utilities, water, sewer, drainage, and roadway all need to be addressed on both of those sections.
So they're expediting, BMA is expediting something to put before the board in the near future on Dina. Like I said, Randy Bosarge is fully on board. He said if we can get him some numbers, BMA can get him some numbers relatively soon, say July. He will get incorporated in the budget for next year. And then he's very interested in continuing what was started on Riley as well, and going from Highway 90 to Ocean Springs Road, with the Ocean Springs Road project, phase 1, starting later in the year. And then the county's interested in picking that up, hopefully completing phase 2 in the next few years from where I think it'll end at Rodmore Road, and take it all the way to 57. You know, those are, Dina and Riley are two main corridors, they're no shoulder. And with the construction of Aldi at near Navigator Credit Union with an entrance on 90 and then a back entrance on Dina, I think it's, absolutely. Yeah. Right. And
I spoke to the Dina Road project. I spoke to Gary Greer from St. Saltfish Spears in Birmingham. They're designing a turning bay onto Dina, a turning bay into the front entrance, and there'll be a traffic signal there. It's been approved by DOT. He's just designing it on that.
At which intersection?
Dina and that turning bay.
We've been trying to.
Yeah, we've been.
It's taken a lot of this development to support afford it. They didn't honor our request, but as more things have gone in, it's given them the numbers.
We thought he asked what we needed, and I thought we needed to be able to get out of the station, because that section right here is a nightmare. It's pretty bad, and this, probably not start happening recently.
Okay,
Don't
great.
have a day in crossing, that's good. You know, we got to raise the,
You know, it was in the works, but, that's great.
Well, that they could question it, but not necessarily that it was in the works.
They went off a 2008 traffic study, and it was approved in, so no weapons.
I know we've submitted numerous requests to MDOT on that intersection, as well as out at Lakeview and 90 to the Tractor Supply and the U-turns for Dollar General. I mean, if anything is screaming for, that one is as well. We'll take what we can get right now. Let's get these.
Yeah, that'd be much better than the signal lights we had.
Yeah, take each other where it's on.
So it's a full-blown traffic light thing.
Right, we'll, from our side, we'll be able to, on the way out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we had requested when we got the emergency one.
It'll give us a green, everybody else a red.
Right.
And then go back to the normal until we get it in, similar to the one down here.
It's simple.
It's in the town.
Okay.
Well, what we plan to do, and I did talk to Ben again, is take all of those things into account, all of the different water, sewer, drainage, and that's good to know about the signal to make sure that we incorporate that into the ideas. Then we can also look at possible fundings to offset the cost before we sit down with the county to kind of divvy up the work with the Steelman to see if there's any opportunities to apply for some of the funding, but it's definitely, it's been coming. It's been on my priority list to look for funding, but it's just hard to find funding for that type of project at that scale, and so it's just been unsuccessful.
While you discussing DOT and the highway, what about the street signs that are faded out? Those were the new signs we put in, and they have not lasted at all. You can't even see the full mile, right there by the hospital. The sign just faded out.
That's something. I noticed. Those are MDOT signs, so
They all faded.
They're bad.
that would be something to send to MDOT. That's not something.
You can't even give them the picket signs up when they get run over by cars. We just been picking them up and piling them behind.
I remember when they were changed out. Remember we had to approve the bigger writing and all that. And
Can't get them to cut.
I'll call Kelly.
Yeah, it would be a Kelly question.
I'll call Kelly.
Alan, there's another one down in front of, across from the Civic Center.
Yeah, there's one there and one by Walmart.
Yeah, so that one out there is a good one. But anyway, I just wanted to apprise the board of that. My partner here at Ward 5, he's also been involved in discussions as he shares the west side of Dina, north of Groveland. So anyway, it's badly needed, especially with the development going on out there. And I just wanted to let the board know that they would be seeing that hopefully very soon.
Yeah.
All right, and
I got one thing, Al, that email that I sent about that light flashing on this side of the building that the people that live across the street complain about, it's still flashing. I just realized that when I went back there.
It's really bad.
There's a lot still flashing.
Where's the light?
it's like
That light is flashing
Right there.
towards those people's house over there.
Oh, right out here.
Like where
Yeah.
the car is.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, please do that, because I sent the email, I thought it was taken care of already.
I misread the email. I thought it was the red light for our water tower at the shop. On the side of our building flashing. That was flashing too.
yes, just look onto the building.
You talking about the light on the building?
Yeah, it's like a strobe, it's that, that's the area light, yeah.
So on top of that, we do need to take a night ride. A lot of street lights, LED lights, the drivers are out, they're just strobing all downtown.
There was someone beat yesterday.
Right, a lot of them do that. We definitely need to get somebody out tonight.
All right, we'll worry about that.
The electrician's working tomorrow morning, can you get him to look at that?
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow morning at
Okay.
9:30.
All right, and with that, do we have a motion to recess until 6 p.m. on Tuesday, April 20th, 2020? Motion on Mr. Enby, second on Mr. Gill. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Yes, sir.
no, you don't have to do that. All right, so
No, I got signs. I went out there yesterday evening and done some work at a fence road. Sidewalk project. I said, you had warning. Cars before they got into the project.
I'm gonna turn it on, they're gonna see it when I tell you, don't look this way. Nobody look this way. Don't look at it.
Oh, look at it?
Don't look at it. Because when I turn it on, they're gonna.
You can turn off the lights or whatever. Yeah, that's bright.
Did everyone see the light? You can't look at it. Y'all don't even have to come over, I can just show you.
That's all.
There's gonna be 32 of those.
technically they're not right in place, but I saw it because the paper that it's every time I've seen it, I've spent time to just find it. I can't show my later.
Yeah, they'll see it. When I let the video, they'll see it.
I brought that out, but I didn't want
They probably did. We had just a few minutes. I heard about that. I heard about next time he says what he gets for you.
So I'm really trying right, yeah. Yeah. I have it on mine.
We're gonna kill them fireworks. We're gonna put some more plants up down in Fort Lauderdale. I'm gonna win. No, I'm gonna win that one. I'm gonna win that one. Because last year.
They already know
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.